Prepare for something amazing on the Rizler podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever Rizler podcast. I'm Jacob, but everyone calls me J-Rod, and this is my buddy Matthew.
Hello, everybody.
Everyone calls him MZ.
Yes, that's true.
MZ. But yeah, we just wanted to talk a little bit about what we're doing here with this podcast and what some of our plans are. And just the whole point of the podcast is going to be for entertainment, just something fun for you guys to listen to, and also something kind of just two guys having a fun chat. So, we're going to have guests on. We're going to have just fun, casual chats. They're going to be relaxing. There's nothing that's going to be too, political or real deep into society. Like, it's just gonna be like a casual fun chat for you guys to tune into and enjoy it. So yeah,
Yep.
I guess I'll start off here by talking about our group name. So during COVID, during the pandemic, Matt and I and some other people got bored, and we decided to start our own YouTube channel.
Like
So
everybody,
yeah, like everybody else during COVID. So we started a channel that we called The Rizlers. It's like a combination of like my name and Matt's name. And that's how we, honest to God, how we thought of the channel name. This was before, for those of you that don't know, Rizler is like a dude that gets all the girls, or someone just who, can riz people up, can charm people, charm someone to date them. So
Yeah.
that's what it's interpreted as now. But back when we started the channel, it wasn't that modern term. So it was just our last names, and we'd found out that no other channel on YouTube had that name at the time. So
It
yeah, we
sounds
went
like a
with
group
that.
too. That's why we put like the ERS, just made it plural and kind of sound like a group because we like also want to include our friends with it. Um, have like a group of people that, we'd affiliate with the channel as well.
Almost definitely, yeah. It's yeah, just we wanted it to include all our friends and everyone that wanted to join in the videos. And we did a few YouTube videos. Our YouTube career didn't last too long, and we weren't super consistent. But it was because we both got super busy. We're still full-time students and have a lot going on, and unfortunately had to stop with the YouTube videos. But we loved it. And we'll get more in our videos later in this episode. But we had just such a good time doing it, and we wanted to kind of continue our passion for content creating. So that's why we're starting this podcast, because we can get a podcast out each week, but getting videos out each week is just a lot more work and a lot more difficult. So,
Yes,
um,
exactly. By the way, we are college students, and when we started the YouTube channel, we were in high school. So, kind of different periods, obviously both being busy, but especially the shift into college really made us a lot more busier. So,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely. It made it harder to find a place and a time to film stuff, but it really was a shame. We loved doing what we did, but I'm excited that we get to kind of have a nice chill chat each week, and hopefully, we'd love to, along with the podcast, potentially make some videos and vlogs and stuff. That'd be pretty fun. Build on the Rizler name again. But yeah,
Yeah.
Rizlers have been a pretty big part of our lives the last, I guess, year that we did the videos, and it was a really fun time. So
Yeah,
excited to
we're
be
gonna
back
be
out.
yeah, we're gonna be approaching the, 4th year here, like, in a couple months of our
Yeah,
channel.
dude, isn't that wild? Like, it was
Yeah.
4 years ago that we started that channel, and now and we probably took a 3-year gap.
Right, yeah.
Between our
Yeah, yeah,
videos and this podcast. Oh,
yeah,
that's wild. Man, I
yeah.
gotta talk about some of the videos because, man, some of the videos we did, and I'm not gonna lie, we tried to build a lot of fun stuff, but some of it just did not work out. Some stuff were pretty cool. Like, we built this pinball machine out of cardboard, and it was insane and huge, and it worked really well. And that was a fun video and a build that worked really well. But then we had other videos like trying to build our own boat that didn't really go as well.
That we could go in, yeah, like a giant pirate ship.
We
We
tried to
were
build.
very Yeah, we were very ambitious. Like, also the thing with all of our builds was it wasn't only like, "Oh, let's build out of cardboard," or, whatever. It was also it had to be big. Like, everything we did was big. Full scale everything. The plane was massive, the pinball was massive. Our house was like, it wasn't like a normal paper house that we did. We had like a giant
No,
like one that actually we could go in and everything. Like, obviously we talk about that like later, but I just thought that was something mentioning too. We always went like big, that was the thing. Like the Rizzlers went big.
that
So
was yeah. Unfortunately, it is tough to go big when you're poor college students. That's what I love to do is actually build up a net worth so I can like, and we can all like make big stuff that also works. But man, I
yeah,
tell you, that plane, since you mentioned that, I'm sorry to go off a little, but this plane, we built this giant cardboard plane, and it took like 3 people to carry this thing. And we
yeah,
carried it we spent all afternoon working on it. We carried 3 people carried this big thing up a hill, and we were gonna try to throw it down this hill and get it to fly. And we at this point, and you can't see it in the video because everyone's off in a distance away from the camera, but we had gained the attraction of everyone who was at the park that day that we were launching the airplane. And we had probably 20 people in the distance, just like, what is that? Watching it. So they're all watching it. There's like 20 people watching. We throw this thing and it goes straight into the ground. Like,
just nosedived.
both sides straight in the grass. And everyone just turns around and walks away after that. But the size of it gained some attention. And then, like, it dove straight down, and everyone's like, yeah, we're leaving.
I think
It's so fun.
correct me if I'm wrong, Jacob, but I think when we were pre-launching, I think like some kids came up to us, obviously as the cool kids we were with this plane. I think for like what we were doing, we are like, yeah, we're YouTubers, the classic we're YouTubers, like acting like we're like really famous and stuff. And I think they like subscribed to our channel. I don't remember
I didn't
the actual
remember.
first
Dude, that's
day,
wild.
but yeah, they might have just, like, went from the water park and just, like, walked away or something. They might have not seen it 'cause the end, like, what happened, because they might have unsubbed if they did,
Yeah,
um,
right?
but I just remember that too, because they thought it was, like,
That's
so
so
cool that
funny.
we
I
were
forgot about I might not have even been
yeah,
up there. I think I was down holding the camera when that
yeah,
happened. Dude, that's
but
a
I'm pretty
riot.
sure I think we had some come up and, like, ask for our channel and stuff, but I thought that was kinda funny and cool,
Dude, that's
Felt
hysterical.
famous.
Yeah. I mean, when you build something like that, I guess we get some attention. But no, I'm trying to think. We didn't get too much, like, I guess too much. That was the one thing that got a lot of attention from the people around us. Because we kind of did
Yeah,
the pirate ship out in the open, and then we saw a snake, which was kind of terrifying in the water right next to us. Um,
yeah,
I'm trying to think what else the pinball was pretty cool. As I said, that was the one that worked. But the first big build, because we did Fortnite videos while we were quarantined, and then
yeah.
once we could finally get out of quarantine, we started doing like builds. So the paper house was our first build, and that was a pretty cool build, Matt. I'm not gonna lie, that thing
Oh,
was
yeah,
big. It was a pretty cool like the paper house was and it turned out fine too. I gotta say, we
yeah.
should have done like an
We
overnight challenge. That would have been fun, but
Yeah, for sure. It was there was a lot of trouble with it. Obviously, like, the wind was a big
hmm
factor, When you're building something that's taller, with just paper, it kinda is more likely to blow over, but it
oh
turned
yeah,
out pretty successful. We had some stuff rip apart, um, but we did it wasn't completely 100% paper, I'm not gonna lie to everybody, we did use, like, some cinder blocks to hold in, like, 4 corners. But, like, the walls were all paper. Um, yeah, but it worked out really well. Kinda surprised. We had,
yeah.
like, a full-on,
It did well.
we had a full-on, like, we had, like, a table with, like, chairs, like, to eat at. I think we ate in it. And we had, like, a video game section with, like, the Switch. Um, it even had, like, a welcome mat at the front, Had everything.
Oh yeah, it turned out great. And then we played some mini games drawing on the walls there, which is fun. The mini games are really fun we played in
Oh, that's
there.
right.
But it was,
Yeah,
I honestly, and the moral of the episode was all about like, it was all about just like, you know, never give up. That was like our saying the whole episode. I did not think we were going to finish that. It was midday. We've been working for hours on it at this point, and it just blew over like again and again and again. I'm like, there's no way we're finishing this.
yeah.
This is a horrible idea. But yeah, we
I mean,
somehow ended up getting it, figuring it out and getting it done.
yeah, like, I remember too, like, talking with people, and I know you did too, like, about our idea, like, "Oh, we're gonna build a paper house," and everyone was like, "That's crazy, like, you can't do it," because, any sane person would agree with that statement, like, you can't do that. How do you make
Hmm.
a paper house? It hasn't been done before. Um, but, it turned out, it happened, you just gotta, you know, uh,
Oh yeah,
what's
keep
the you
going.
gotta keep going, you gotta persist with it, and maybe, uh, get some help with, other materials, but, overall, I mean, it was 95% paper, and it
Oh
worked.
yeah.
People you could say that and people would not agree, but, yeah, we made it work, so
I remember telling my golf coach because I had a Rizzler hat on, and he's like, "What's your hat?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's like my YouTube channel." He's like, "Oh, that's cool. What do you guys do?" And I'm like, "Just random, whatever. Like, we built a house out of paper." And he's like, "Wait, like, how big was this?" And I'm like, trying to show him. I'm like, "It's probably from that wall to that wall, like in the golf studio we were in." He's like, "Holy shit, there's no way it's that big." I'm like, "It had some square footage. I mean, it was pretty big." But no, that was a cool episode. Oh, my favorite. This is my all-time favorite thing I built, like maybe even ever. When we built the paper city, we built a miniature model city inside. And that video went crazy. We have like a few thousand views on it. Deservingly though. Like that city took a while. It was actually about like this time of the year too, because it was winter. But it took a while to build. But it ended up being just insane, the paper city. And it was such a fun project. Like we literally like had a blast building it, and it turned out being insane, like little model city. But the cool thing about that project is we had some like plumbing issues in our house, and I had this thing built like right in front of all like the pipes and everything. So this plumber comes in and he's like, "Holy cow, what is this?" We had like a huge model city built that just goes back and back and back,
yeah, I
and
mean, I was at
it
least,
was
like,
big.
10, 15 feet, something like that,
Yeah, and it's like
and it
Matchbox
was probably
car
like it was probably
size.
like it was probably like 6 feet by, like, maybe 10, 12 feet probably, just
Oh
a
yeah,
reference.
it was a big. Matt helped out on it too quite a bit, but it was a big. It was really had traffic lights that were like legit and made out of paper, and it was crazy looking. But this guy came down here. He's like, "This is so cool. Do you mind if I take a picture of this and show it to my wife and kids?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" Like, that was some cool attention we got from that project too. That was pretty fun. But yeah, that was probably the coolest thing I think on the channel. I mean, that's very biased, but that because you and I did a primary role in it, but it was a very cool build.
Yeah.
But yeah. What was your favorite video, MZ?
I would say for me, I think the slingshot video was pretty funny. Like, it was really fun to do, and it was, had a funny moment, but so essentially what we did was we took two trees and just took about, like, I don't know, 20 rubber bands and, like, tied them all together, and then we took, like, duct tape as, like, the pouch, and we put a, golf ball in it, and we just launched that thing, and how far was it, Jacob? Do you remember?
I don't off the
Was it
top of my head. I
was it
think
like
it
30
went
feet
like a
maybe?
hundred-ish feet
Oh, 100, okay,
at one
yeah. Actually,
point.
yeah, that
I think, yeah.
makes more sense, yeah, but it went pretty far. But yeah, so, like, else is going well, and then I went to launch one time, and, I pulled it back really pretty far. I mean, I might have been the farthest attempt since, like, when I was doing it before that. Uh, but anyway, so I pull it back, and then I let go, and I don't hear any noise, and I'm like, "Oh, it must have stuck in," 'cause, it's duct tape, it occasionally did that. So I'm like, "Oh, I guess it didn't launch." But then I see the pouch go forward, and then it starts coming back at me, and I realize, "Oh, shoot, the ball's still in it, and it's gonna fly at me." So then it just hits me right, not in the face, thankfully, but it just shot straight down on my foot, right in, like, the bad spot where your
Dang.
toes on your foot. So it just, like,
Oh,
it kinda hurt for a bit, but,
I
it's
remember
got
it pelted
one of the
at you.
yeah.
That's wild.
Uh,
I remember do you remember
yeah.
it almost took Adam's head off? Adam was standing way
Oh,
down on the lawn. He was probably 50 feet out there, and it was
yeah,
like he had to jump out of the way just
yeah.
in time. We got it on camera too, because there was a camera set up right next to him, and he jumped, like, just in time to miss this ball flying
It's
at
a
his head. It was nuts.
yeah, it's a golf ball too, so, I mean, that
Yeah.
it hurt.
Dude,
But
that's
yeah, that
wild.
that was pretty, dangerous. Speaking of dangerous, another moment we had on our channel, like, our channel wasn't totally, safe, we were a bunch of kids and, just, making some random projects, but, yeah, they weren't the safest. So one we made as well was, a giant sled, we went giant
Oh
again.
my gosh.
And
Dude,
this
the
thing
sled.
this thing, your ordinary sled houses, like, 1 person typically, right? Maybe 2, but yeah, ours carried 2 people. It could really carry 4, I think, but we only had 2 that went on it, but yeah, it had, like, the weirdest design. It was like we used boxes, of course, because 'cause we're, like, the cardboard paper masters. That's, like, another thing we went by, but we had it was like 2, like, cardboard boxes, and then on the middle attaching them, they weren't, like, right next to each other. There was, like, another cardboard piece that we just I think we used, like, tape again, just, like, regular
Yeah,
duct tape, of
I wanted
course.
to use nails to attach it. But then
Yeah,
somebody brought up, and this is a really good point that honestly probably could have saved someone from getting seriously hurt. Because I'm like, oh, we'll just use nails or whatever to attach them. And you or Donnie, one of you guys was like, no, someone's going to get pelted. I'm like, shoot. Like, yeah, that's actually true. Because there's going to be the pointy part of the nail pointed right at the person in the sled. So if that thing goes down, it would have been so stupid. But yeah, that was a little
yeah.
funny memory. Anyway, sorry, what were you saying?
So, yeah, anyway, so it's attached by, like, a flat, like, piece of, cardboard. It was fairly big. Again, the sled was probably, I don't know, maybe 5 feet by, like, 6 feet. It wasn't, like, crazy big, but it was, pretty big size. But anyway, so and then we put, like, a Rizzler flag with our logo, put it in the middle. It kinda looked like a sailboat or something with, like, a really small, like, sail, but, so Jacob and Donnie went up, Donnie being one of our friends. But yeah, they went up. I decided to record, at the bottom of the hill because I wasn't riding in that thing. Jacob, do you wanna explain what happened?
Yeah, it fell apart immediately right when we were going down the hill. And the worst part
Yeah.
about this hill is it goes straight into like it basically goes straight on the ice. There's like a solid layer of ice and a blacktop right in front of us. So we go like straight down this hill because it's a pretty steep hill. And we get to the bottom and just bam, slam on some ice. It was nuts. Like, it was just like we hit the ice hard, and I was like, oh, it was not fun. But it was, I mean, I honestly expected the sled to hold up better than it did because we had two basically pods connected with the one middle piece, like Matt said, and it basically they both split in half and just mine toppled
Yeah,
over. I think Donnie made it a little further before he like toppled over. But that was wild.
yeah.
And then the best part of the video, Matt.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
The
we go down and to get stuff out. We're in the middle of nowhere. Like this hill was like it's our secret sledding hill because no one else ever goes there to sled. So it's in the middle of nowhere, very steep hill, like middle of nowhere. And I go to get a camera and stuff out of my car because I had it in there to kind of keep it warm. And I think my car keys, which were in the car, ran out of battery or something. because the
Yeah.
keys, or I pushed lock and put them in there, even though I'm pretty sure when you have the keys in the car, it still should unlock. I don't know exactly what
Yeah.
happened, but long
I
story
think you
short,
ran out of it.
yeah, I think so
It's
too.
unlucky.
Long story short, the keys got locked in the car, and we were in the middle of nowhere. So we had to call for help, and we built a little survival shelter for the time being and got help out there. So that was a pretty fun end to the video. But yeah, I really didn't
Mm.
plan it out to be that way. But that was a fun day looking back on it. We had an adventure that day with the car. But speaking of
Yeah.
adventure, I enjoyed my favorite video to make was probably our camping video. And this video came about, it was just a vlog, but a really fun vlog, and actually probably one of our better videos too. But basically, what we did was I was like, well, Matt and Joey and some of our other friends had been camping before. And I'm like, oh, that sounds so fun. I love outdoors, da 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 da. Well, they keep calling me a city boy because, like, I'm a city boy. You never been camping. You don't know what it's like. Da 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 da. Kept giving me crap for all that. So we went camping to settle it once and for all. And my first ever time camping, it rained 3 days straight, pretty much.
Yep.
It
All day.
rained the whole damn time. Yeah, but we got a good vlog out of it. We almost had a tornado come through. We had a really bad storm. That was
Yeah.
entertaining. But yeah,
There's,
it
like,
was
so many
wild.
stories we could tell
Yeah.
with, like, our camping, and I'm like, "Maybe we'll do some later on," but
Yeah, we
there's
want to
plenty.
do a camping podcast, so that might be later.
That's potential, yeah.
But yeah, there's so many stories from that. But that was really fun. I had a blast filming that, even though it rained the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I think I might have minors long after that. What we did was we hung a giant tarp above like our campfire to keep the rain out so we could actually cook food and stuff. And we sat under there and chilled for hours, like the first day we got in, because it was just pouring. But all the smoke from the fire was just coming right onto us because we had a big tarp right over it that we were all sitting under. We're just like
It was like
smoking
it
like
was like
10 packs that day worth of
it's like
campfire.
yeah, it was like we were in a factory in the Industrial Revolution or something, just, like, there was no, like, control, it was just smoky and
It's just
hazy, it
so,
was bad.
it's so funny. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. But there was no other way to do it. And we were like I mean, Joey knows everything there is to know about camping. It's like we either don't have food tonight because everything we brought needs heated up, or we sit out in the rain, and those are like the only options. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're like putting the tarp over the fire so we can actually do that stuff. But yeah, we could talk
Yeah,
a whole nother episode about this.
yeah.
I also like being on the outdoors kind of grind. I like the survival shelter challenge too.
Oh, yep, that was another video.
That was, although this is an embarrassing story about that on my behalf. We did this challenge where we went out in the woods, and Eli and Donnie were on a team, and Adam and MZ were on a team. And I was the impartial judge. And basically, what happened was they built a survival shelter challenge. So basically, they built like a survival shelter out of sticks and whatever they could find. The rules were you could use any sticks or logs from the ground, but you just weren't allowed to cut down full blown trees, which eventually got on a debate because Matt was trying to cut something. And I think it was a tree. Eli damn sure thought it was a tree because he was throwing a fit that you were doing that. But it was a very
Yeah,
thin tree.
but it was so thin, I considered it a branch personally.
Yeah, you could
Um,
fit your
uh,
fist around it. It wasn't that thick of a tree.
yeah, if we ever had Eli or something, we could have a debate, but yeah.
Eli's
We
very
still talk about
passionate
it now
about
and
it.
then when I see him
Yeah.
every time. Because I mean, he was like, the thing I remember, he was just screaming, like, he was yelling, like, he was, like, holding this rule, like, so seriously. Um, I mean, it was just, like, the smallest tree, and it was just so hilarious, like,
It's so funny.
you kinda have to see the clip to, like, understand, but it was just so funny.
That was a really funny part of the video. But anyways, they built their shelters and both teams did a pretty good job. But Matt and Adam's held up better. And the like
Ours was definitely better.
basically I judged based off three categories. It was like the most durable, the one that could hold the most strength, and like we pour water on it with someone inside it to see like the one that could basically like prevent you from getting wet if it rained. And we get to the final category, which is the strength one. And I karate chopped Donnie, and this was like the first two categories I'll give it were pretty even between the two forts. But I get to Donnie and Eli's fort, karate chop it, the whole thing falls down. I get to Matt and Adam's fort, karate chop it, it doesn't fall down. And it was pretty good. And I'm like,
Threes were raw.
okay, there's one. Well, I accidentally marked like the score in the wrong column for the wrong team. So Dottie and Eli ended up winning. They ended up losing because I put
It
the
took
number in the wrong column.
and it took you, like, the longest time to tell me that. Like,
So,
it was probably, like, a year after or something I
oh
knew
yeah, you
about
guys
that.
were pissed at losing. I'm like, shit, I
Yeah,
can't tell
I
them
kinda
that.
got mad.
It's so
I got
funny.
mad at that.
I put it in the wrong because we were using like a score sheet. We were trying to be all official here. But one of the funny parts about that challenge, we had probably hiked for 3.5 hours just to find a place to do the challenge because we could not for the life of us find a place. We went to two different parks and we were like gonna
Yeah,
make the challenge an hour long, but we could only make it a half an hour long because we were running into like daylight. We were running into
and
the end of the day.
yeah, and, like, the funny part too is, like, the searching, like, I think 75% of, like, the searching was at one park that we never even did. We went to the other one, and then I think, like 15 minutes in, we were just like, "Yeah, we're just gonna do this park instead."
It was wild. We were at the other park for like
For,
hours,
like,
and then we get to
hours.
this one 15 minutes later. Yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also the first park is where we did the hide and seek video was cool. We did the hide and
Oh,
seek
yeah.
video there. That we did like a Mr. Beast style mega hide and seek at this huge park. And
Yeah.
apparently Bobby I think won that. Bobby actually did really well. He tore up the Rizzler challenges when he first started. But he won
Yeah.
that one. And apparently I'd walked by him like three times. Because basically we had it so like the whole park was open and then we kept like lowering the circle. So we lowered the circle to like what would you say, like a 3 mile radius. So it's still pretty big for us to hunt.
Yeah. Something like that.
But
It was very big.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. That video worked out well. And
Yeah.
yeah, we had apparently we'd walked by him multiple times and just he ended up winning though because he found Dylan first. But yeah, it was a pretty that was a pretty cool video, and I gotta give it Robert like he dubbed out on some of the Rizzler challenges. That was a really good win for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else did Robert win? Because he won like the first two or three straight, didn't
Yeah, we did, like, a board game video, like, a life size, like, a giant one, obviously giant, uh,
he?
where Jacob, you actually made a board game,
Yeah, that's
it was
right.
kinda like Monopoly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a Monopoly. I still have it here too, like the mini version. Because I made a mini version, but then we just set it up like giant, of course, and we played it like just giant Monopoly or giant like board game. But yeah, he won. I forgot about that. That was pretty cool. Yeah, the board game was fun. And then yeah,
Yeah.
so Robert took the dub with that. Rizzler, what else did he win in? Trying to think. Can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah,
Yeah, I'd have to check.
Rizzler trivia was pretty fun too. I feel like the teams were a little too unfair for that
Yeah,
game,
we did,
but it
like,
was
a
pretty
Jeopardy
fun.
style trivia, and, like, we had, like, the people who, like, we made videos to start, and then people who have, like, watched your channel, like, for a bit, and we, like, competed, like, put them together, and obviously the people who have been at the start, like, won.
Yeah, that was fun because Matt was the host and I was the cameraman, so it wasn't as biased. But Matt, you did because I gotta give it, guys. That whole video and the game was all Matt. You put that game together and it looked good as hell. That was a really, really well put together game, man.
Oh, thank
The
you.
trivia board, and you had clips and pictures. That was a
Yeah,
really cool game. But yeah, back to like the Rizzler videos though. Um, Another big thing was for us, the disc golf sector, we got really into that because it was easy to film because we would just go out and play disc golf. But then also it was easy to it was easy for us to get views because we started getting in the shorts, and the disc golf shorts had consistently done really well. So
yeah, it
it
was, like,
was,
really
yeah,
surprising,
yeah, we did
at
a
least
few
to me,
disc golf
yeah.
things.
They're getting thousands, like, I think they're are they still our mo most viewed, I think?
I would imagine, man. I would
They had
imagine.
thousands, yeah, they had a lot.
Yeah, we had some reels do pretty well disc golf, and I'd love to have Eli on. He can talk all things disc golf. He's really into it, so we could do a disc golf podcast at some point. I know he said
Yeah.
he's excited to join us down the line. He'll be one of our guests for sure. But yeah, it's yeah, the disc golf I can't forget to mention just because that was and the funny part, and I'm still a pretty like baseline growing player in the game. But a lot of people would comment on the videos and give me like advice on my form and stuff, which I thought was really cool. And then a lot of people they taught me a lot about the game because I used to say frisbee golf in the videos all the time. And man, I would not like that's like a sin in the disc golf community, I know now. Because I would get bombarded in the comments for saying that. But yeah, it's for saying frisbee golf. So yeah, never it's disc golf, not frisbee golf, now I know. But yeah,
Yeah.
people will take that terminology seriously, man. But I see why now. I kind of like talked to some experts and got like the reasoning down because frisbee's like a brand, and frisbees are meant to be caught and all that stuff, and discs aren't meant to be caught and they're meant to be thrown and all that. And basically, discs aren't like brands. So like Ultimate Frisbee technically is supposed to only be Ultimate because it's not like the Frisbee brand. It's interesting, very interesting how people take those terminologies.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that was another sector of our channel I won't forget. But yeah, I'd love to go deeper too into our background with filmmaking because we didn't start at the Rizlers. We actually started trying to think what would have got us into it. Basically, I had always loved making home films, and in grade school we would read a book in school, then we'd have like our teacher would give us a list of projects we could do. And one of the things, it was like write an essay about the book. One of the things is make a movie about the book. And I would always do the movie one. And we did, I'd get a group of people together. We made some like pretty decent movies for like being in grade school. And we made one that was so good that the teacher even showed the other classes because we used like a green screen to simulate things. And it wasn't like good, like anywhere near cinema quality, but for like some like sixth graders, it's pretty damn well made. But that got me into it, and I know Matt, you had some experience as well.
Yeah, I did have some memories myself as a kid. One thing that got me into filming was Legos and specifically stop motion. I remember watching those all the time as a kid on YouTube, and I decided to make my own, version of that. In fact, mine was like, less professional than Jacob's. This was, like, probably maybe even younger than him, but this was, like, way back, but, I had, like, I think it was my 3DS that had, like a camera mode because I didn't have a phone at the time, and so I'd literally, like, take a picture with my DS and, just, like, snap images and then make the stop motion, and then eventually I did get to use the family camera because then we got one, and I would use that to make my own, so it was, like, a little better quality, and then, yeah, I made, like, my own. In fact, I think I somehow got one, like, a copy, like, I got one on a disc that, like, I can literally play. I don't know remember how, but, yeah, that was, like, my early, like, step into, like, filmmaking was just, like, taking Legos and making stop motion animations with them.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's a cool way to get into it. And basically, when we met, we actually kind of became friends over this because I wanted to do a movie project, and I happened to be sitting with Matt at high school lunch, and I was like, I'd love to do like a movie project. And you were like, oh, I'm so down, let's do it. So we ended up doing our first movie together, and we had our whole group of friends. But him and I, we took this stuff seriously, and we were going for it. And it was a spy movie. And I was like a secret agent, and Donnie and Matt were the bad guys. And it's a funny movie to look back on because it's just kind of cringy, but we made it good enough to where it's easy to follow and you know what's going on. So it's like it's kind of one of those movies, but it's pretty funny first movie. But then we got into like we decided, hey, like let's try to enter a film festival. So we started a second movie. We got a nice camera, started a second movie, and that movie is still a work in progress, but so far we spent like a whole summer on it, got part of it done, and it's pretty damn good. It's pretty high quality, and sadly, like we haven't worked on it in years just because we couldn't get the actors who we needed back together to finish it. And we're still kind of thinking through that because we'd love to finish it because it's such a good movie. But it's still going to be our goal to enter some sort of film festival down the line. I'd love to finish our movie we're working on now, our because we're working on like a movie, or I guess we were working on the movie where we were a bunch of high school kids. So we basically played ourselves in the movie, which is our creative way of getting around needing actors because we would just be ourselves and dang, we were like acting, you know? So we would
Yeah.
basically play a bunch of high school kids who were, you know, had our personalities and stuff so we didn't have to act too hard because that was a downfall of the first movie was like acting as spies was we weren't pros at and only Donnie had had acting experience so only he was the one who was super good with it. But yeah, he
Yeah.
this movie was really good. And as I said, I have a film festival in mind. I want to enter one of these years. But it's just a matter the problem with films is you need so much time and energy. It takes forever to make even like a short film between scripting and getting it all together. But it's on the bucket list. Like one of these days we're gonna do some sort of film festival. But man, it is a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah, I think, like, even with our, like, YouTube videos, it'd be a lot easier, but it was still, like, it's that's the big thing I got from it too, it's just it's so busy and it's hard to do, it's so enjoyable, but it's so, like, busy,
Oh
so
yeah.
time consuming.
To work it around your life is hard. I wish I could do this stuff for a living. I feel like we could have some a really cool media production uh going if we could do it like all day full time, you know. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, life's not like that, and we got a million other things going on. But man, it's fun as hell if you just have the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a full time effort. But it's a good time. Really get to be creative with filmmaking, which is what I enjoy. And I'm trying to go down a career path. And I know you're pretty similar, Matt, where we're kind of using our creativity in life. So
Yes.
that's very special to me. Especially with like the whole filmmaking and video making aspects. And I love vlogs. When we did our camping vlog, that was fun because I was able to like, oh wow, I got a really cool shot of that like crawfish or whatever we filmed. We got a really cool shot of a snail, I remember. And I mean, we just got some really cool like nature shots, and that's what I love is you getting those really nice shots. Like we catch some fish and get a good pan of the fish, you know, like those shots, the shots you have to work for are the fun ones, man. They're a
Yeah,
great time.
and also, like, the just, like, having videos is just like it's like a memory, you know, you can look back every time I watch one of our old videos, it just brings memories back to, like, high school. You know, even though it wasn't that long ago, you know, it's still, like, great to listen to watch it and, you know, in the coming years, it'll just become more and more special as, you know, we get older.
Oh,
So, that's one thing
definitely.
about making our videos. You know, even this podcast, you know, might listen to it years later or something and just, like, you know, hear myself talking.
Oh, definitely. It's just a blast from the past. It lightens something up in me to rewatch our videos. It really does. It kind of lightens that spark of creativity. Like I feel almost like a kid again, and like I just feel like kind of remember, oh yeah, like I have the reign to be creative and build stuff and make videos. Like I feel like as you get older, you're just more tamed to like not be as creative and like not think outside the box as much. But I think that or think outside the box in different ways that you usually like you wouldn't think to build this exotic thing and then make a video and vlog about how you built it, but like that stuff just kind of re-sparks the creativity for me and the just childhood and child in me. So it's really cool to have. But I tell you what though, I've got like the holy grail of podcasts, and I kind of want to release it as part of our podcast, but I'm trying to find the right time because I have a recording of a podcast we did, me and you and Alex and a bunch of us Rizzlers did during COVID. And it was the middle of COVID,
Oh
and we were
yeah.
basically documenting what life was like at the time. And I kept it on my computer because I was switching over computers. I saved it on a thumb drive. I'm like, this could be in a history museum one day as firsthand evidence of how it was like for kids doing Zoom school and growing up in COVID and just your everyday family. So my plan is like on the day that the shutdown happened, one of these years to release it as one of our episodes to be like, yeah, this is our like COVID anniversary episode. Wait till it becomes like super nostalgia. But yeah, it's that episode I'd love to re-listen, and as I said, I might release it once like as a COVID anniversary quote unquote episode, just because it'd be cool to hear maybe in a few years.
Yeah, I don't remember what you're talking about. That's like the one thing I can't remember.
Yeah, it's a very yeah, it was just a very subtle thing we did. Like we literally just got on, and we were online too, and we just started talking about
Oh,
like stuff in COVID.
I think I know what you're talking about now. I kinda
Yeah.
remember now.
Is
Wow,
there,
that was
yeah.
so long ago. Yeah, I remember it now,
Oh,
briefly.
yeah.
It
Because
took me a minute.
it was on my yeah, on my thumb drive, and I always notice it. But dude, it was wow. Like I don't remember much about what we said during the episode because it was so long ago.
Yeah,
But I remember Alex talking about like, and this was like I knew a lot of people that did this back then. But I remember him talking about how his family would like disinfect like they ordered a pizza, they would like disinfect like the bag or whatever it came in,
yeah,
or
prime
like
COVID,
disinfecting
everyone was freaking out.
groceries. Yeah, because this was a time
Yeah,
where people were freaked out. Like we didn't know what was hitting us, at least in the
yeah.
area we were at. So it was like, yeah, hearing some of the stuff people were doing, like looking back on that is just wild. So I'm honestly kind of want to listen to that again soon. But it's
We had
yeah.
practice, before doing this podcast.
I wonder what happened to that because I would have said, like, I feel like we would have tried, like, that would have been. I remember thinking, like, oh, let's do a Start a Rizzler podcast. We'll start with COVID because it's so prevalent now. And I guess we never went through with the Rizzler podcast idea till now.
Yeah, like 4 years later.
Yeah, finally getting to it. But yeah, I love podcasts though, man. Like I listen to them all the time. I love when I have busy work to do for school, listening to them while I'm playing video games, like a game like Minecraft or something, listening to them. Like I love like I'll listen to them all the time. Like on a road trip listening to them. And they're getting popular. Like I know a lot of people who also love listening to podcasts. And I mean, that's also why I wanted to do this is I genuinely like love like listening to podcasts. They are so entertaining. I learn so much and they're so casual. It's not like a radio show because I used to listen to radio shows during COVID. I used to have the radio on all day. And the radio shows are good, but like man, like I just love podcasts because it's just so, just such a chill discussion and you get to see from my like what I've got with listening to them is you get to see a different side of people. Like you see all these celebrities that you love, well, you hear them on a podcast, you get to know them on a more personal level than just like on the Hollywood interview level. Like they're there having a good talk. Um, they're there having a good talk, having a good time, being genuine. And they're on there for like, you know, upwards an hour plus, maybe 2 hours. So it's, like really cool to hear just a normal conversation from like celebrities and different people.
Yeah, for sure. Like, even just, like, having this discussion, like, it's made me, like, so relaxed and just, like, at ease, like, it's kind of a weird feeling, it's just so soothing, like, just talking, um, we've had late nights where we just, like you and I would just, like, be on a call and just, like, talk for, like, ever, like, and just, like, go into, like, the AM times and just, like, go late at night on some, like, random day, but yeah, so it's a satisfying feeling, hopefully you guys, you're still listening and enjoying it as well, the ride along with us, so
Oh yeah,
yeah.
it's satisfying. As you said, we would talk, we get on thinking we'd be on for 15 minutes and end up talking for 2.5 hours. But it's also like with podcasts, I do agree. Listening to them for me makes me at ease because when I'm at work, and I work a job that's requires at times very busy work of like doing the same thing over. And I'm looking like, shoot, I got to get all this stuff done. Oh man, it's gonna be a long day. I plug a podcast in, I'm at ease, I'm chilling, I'm just sitting there grinding out work. Like it is so good for working when you're doing like simple like tasks that don't require much thinking. It's just so nice. You just listen and do your task. But it's calming to listen to. And even like I love that different change. Like your mind kind of wanders with the conversation. So if I'm having a bad day or there's something mentally bothering me, I plug a podcast in. I'm like, I'm in that conversation. I'm not worried about whatever I was worried about before. So that's why I like it. And that's what I hope to offer people too through our podcast. It's just something chill for them to listen to and be engaged in. But yeah, that's what I like too, is you have a bad day. You can just listen to it and get a whole different thing to think about or different thing to put your mind to than whatever else you have going on.
Yeah, or if you're having a good day, it can just uplift you even more, make it even
That's so
better, make it a
true.
superb day.
That's actually so true. Yeah, you just have something to entertain you. I love it. I love waking up in the morning and having like, oh, I think I want to wake up and start listening to this guy. I love him in the morning. My favorite mornings are when I get up. I guess I can't say favorite because I have to do schoolwork, but I love during the school year when I get up, put a podcast in my headphones and work on schoolwork. I start off the day productive, make a cup of coffee, get homework done, and listen to podcasts. So it's just such a good vibe, especially when I like get up, walk down to the coffee shop, put my headphones in, listen, get a shit ton of work done, and like it's a good time. I really enjoy starting the day off like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good, and I'm excited that we're able to do our own because it's just. Man, I've been itching. Like I have had a hard time listening to so many of them and not making our own because I know we have a lot we can offer people, and I know it just sounds like fun to sit and talk, and you know, I just think that listening to them, I miss like that conversation, and I want to have like more conversations like this. And I think that's cool too, because I think they also push. Hopefully, they're pushing people to want to do more face-to-face talking with people nowadays, and more like just genuine, fun conversations with people versus just like surface line stuff.
Yeah, we're in such, like, a world that's, like, antisocial, and I think, having this podcast and just, like, doing it with you or whoever we have on is just, like, a great way to, socialize with people and, have a sense of community and bonding, so, yeah, I totally agree with you on that.
Oh, definitely. And I think it's cool because it's two genuine people talking. Like nowadays, and this is going to be a topic for another episode, but we're talking about AI and stuff. And like, I just like that it's preserving like human to human talking. There's no like robot or website to go through. Like you're just talking face to face, or even if you're doing like right now we're doing like a remote online podcast, but like just having a genuine conversation with another human and not typing something in the internet or, like just having a great conversation is, I think, I agree with you. Like, I think it's great and much more needed because there's so many. I know a lot of people who love to just sit inside all day and not talk to people. And I was shocked at that at college. A good amount of people in my dorm building would not go out and talk. A lot of people on like my area of the dorm would just sit inside all day on games. And sometimes I'd hear them talking to people on games, but a lot of times they just be sitting like headphones on just playing. And it's like, man, where did the times go where on like a Thursday, Friday night people want to like go out and hang out with friends and now people are sitting inside like playing games, especially when they're just on their own. And even on a
Uh,
normal weeknight, like a Monday night, having a group of friends over, and
yeah.
playing some board games or watching football and having a conversation, like, where did that go? Now it's just like, oh, I'm gonna go do my own thing, and play on games.
I should probably cut in real quick and say, I'm gonna speak for Jacob here. I don't think he's anti-technology, by the way. Um,
No,
you just went on a boomer rant right there, but,
a
yeah,
boomerang.
you're like the guys like, "These TikTok kids, they're just on their phone too much."
Oh no,
They just get off,
I'm
but
glad you
yeah,
said
no,
that.
obviously, we're both, like, Gen Z, and so we grew up with, like, technology and stuff, it's kinda unavoidable, but, like, I definitely agree, like, to it, you can't you gotta come out of like, be off technology sometimes and just, like, even I fall into that trap where you just, like, be on your computer or phone, like, all day. Um, yeah, it's definitely, like, something you have to kinda put an effort, to doing, but yeah, obviously technology has helped us bond too, with, like, filming and everything, but yeah, and, like, YouTube, this, but yeah.
Oh, definitely. And I guess, yeah, I'm not against tech by any means, and I agree with you. Like, I personally have a hard time fighting the urge to get up and go meet with people or get up and go knock on the door next door and hang out with, friends. Like, I have a hard time fighting that urge when I could be sitting on the couch and watching Instagram and calling it a night. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely a hard urge to fight. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it is hard for me to want to get out of my comfort zone and get off the games and go out and go somewhere or, you know, it definitely is. I would agree with you. And I feel like, yeah, that's the thing about technology and growing up around it is it makes it twice as hard for you to go out and do something social because you have, like, as I said, like it's hard to want to get off the Minecraft world I've been grinding out and go hang out with
Mhm.
people for a night. You know what I mean? Like it definitely is. I'm not gonna say I haven't fallen in that trap either. It
Yeah.
definitely is a hard trap. And that's to your point with the boomer conversation. I think that's probably what it's difficult for the older generations to understand because, like when my parents went to college, they had cable TV with like 3 channels in their dorm room, and there were no video games that you couldn't play without someone sitting next to you. Like playing video games with a friend meant that you and the friend were tethered to the TV playing like playing right next to each other. Like there's no online games. So times have really changed now because with online games and all that, and can't say I'm necessarily against online games because you're with people and you're talking with people, but now, like, they have these single player stuff, and it makes it so easy not to go out and just do genuine face to face stuff. And I think online games are a great way to hang out with friends. Like, I love a few nights a week hopping online and doing stuff versus meeting people in person and doing stuff. But there is a point, where you have to go out and do in person things. You can't just sit online with people all night. It's definitely not the same. and you don't have like adventures. Like we've had so many adventures doing in-person things with Rizzler videos that, we wouldn't have had if we decided to play video games instead of make a video that day. So you really do have to get out, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, we could go like I'm sure we'll definitely do a podcast about like technology or AI. I mean, that's its own topic in itself, for sure. But yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, to your point, yeah, I think that, I'm happy to grow up in this technological era, I mean, and I'm really grateful for what's out. But I definitely think that there is, with all the technology we have, there is like a right and wrong way of doing it. Like, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is it can be done right and it can be done wrong, especially like, and we'll talk more about AI, but especially at that, I just feel like there's definitely like growing up in such a technical era and in the digital revolution, like there is like definitely like pros and cons of it. And there's a lot of pros and a lot of great things that come out of it. And I wouldn't trade it for the world to be alive now when we have such advanced technology. But there's also like some scary stuff and, just nerve wracking things for the future. And, the cons of like not being forced to be as social that come out of it too. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting. As I said, we may make a whole episode on that because we could go off.
yeah. We just went off for
We
like
just went
5 minutes.
off. Sheesh.
What did we even? What were we even talking about?
Rizzler videos, movies,
Movies. Where
podcasts.
did
Yeah, we went off. That's what I love
we
about
even
podcasts too.
Yeah,
It's
we just
always
we
some fun conversation.
yeah.
But yeah, overall, we just want to, I mean, we're having a great time with this and this conversation. As I said, we want to continuously improve the quality of our podcasts. We want to have more guests on. We want to have fun with this. So please do stay tuned. We have great hopes for the future and plan on only getting better and continuously improving. Um, and we'd also like to leave the door open to you guys, the listeners. What recommendations would you have on like topics for us to cover? Please leave those in the comments or leave anything you'd like to hear an episode on in the comments, and we'll see if we can get to that because we'd love to do shows based off what you guys want to hear. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate your time, appreciate you tuning in on us, and thanks for listening, and we will see you in the next episode.